Good morning, Granny. Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome back.
Good morning, Octo. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Knowing the end of you may be closer than we think, so that gets me excited today.
Yeah, only a few days to go till I go in for surgery that I may not come out of.
Well, that's exactly right. Well, tentacles crossed that you do make it out because pinning down Uncle Wayno and putting rollers in his beard is going to be quite difficult, I dare say.
Mind you, it'd be worth seeing. I think that'd be good.
Well, that's exactly right. As you can see, I've had a bit of a scenery today. I put a green screen behind me just to cover up the ocean. So,
it's very good. I'm impressed. Well, we've both got a different view today behind us.
Yeah, I don't know what that thing in the background is though. Out that green screen mirror, I'll have to look into that. There should be nothing in the garden. I don't know what that is. Maybe one of the minions has been doing a pottering in the seabed.
Maybe.
We'll say hello to the chat. Good morning, Octopus. Hello. It's good to see some handsome people in the chat. Good morning, Mary. Good morning, our kidnapping reselling octopus. Well, you forgot the only kidnapping reselling octopus. There's only one and only in the world.
There is. Good morning, Mary.
Yeah, we're good, thank you. Bax, morning all. Are you okay? Well, I'm fine. I'm always fine, but I don't know about Granny. Look at her. She's wearing a jumper. Yeah, like Bax said, probably better to talk to Granny. She's more approachable and more, I say, sympathetic than I am. So, yeah, if you need a chat, reach out to Granny.
Yes, do that.
Yeah, so there's the StreamYard link if you're so inclined to bounce in and say hello and maybe use the accountability hour for what it's worth or what it's designed for.
Yes, well, you could. They could, but no one seems to want to do it, though, do they?
Oh, well, that's right. Well, there's the dog in the background. He's out there swimming. Morning all. Morning, Sydney. Hello, Kafan.
Good morning.
Is it Kafan or Kafan?
I say Kafan.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make it sound a little more special than he is, Granny. But good morning, Kafan.
Kafan sounds I don't know what sounds like. Sounds some sort of I was going to say French, but no.
I was going to say I try to use a French spin on it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Morning, Hilo. How are you?
Good morning, Hilo.
Drew.
Good morning, Drew.
Yes, we're trying to stay well and we're trying to stay accountable, but not many people want to for some reason.
Well, yeah, Octo and I stay accountable, but no one else seems to want to be accountable. But
that's right. We're here every week at 10 o'clock. Sometimes we even forget to go live.
We do. Well, I don't. Octo does.
That's right. That's exactly right. But Drew, we're going to be reviewing the Daily Refinement Facebook group in the next podcast about accountability. So, make sure you keep your eye out for that one.
Yes. We'll be
good morning, Dave. It's a different green screen. Yeah, people are trying to catch on to who I am, so I had to flip it around.
Yes. They're trying to recognise him by what's in the background.
That's right. That's exactly right. Keep it on it. Keep them on their toes.
Good morning, Jane.
Graham, how are you? Just in time to see the handsome octopus that are in here. Must have seen me. Sitting Kitty, first time here. Hello and welcome. Yeah.
Good morning, Kitty.
Like we said before, there's a link in the comments field somewhere. I've lost it. By all means, you're more than welcome to jump on and have a chat if you're so inclined.
You can pin that, can't you, to the top?
He's been pronounced. Well, I don't know. I'll have to have a look. I think I've pinned it now. I'm not too sure. I've been pronouncing it like Granny. Okay, I thought K-Fun was, but apparently you pronounce it Granny. So okay.
K-Fun. I think he's trying to say I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously it sounds like he's incorrect as well. We got some.
Hellos and hellos to each others.
That's right. Okay, sitting on my toe, hyping is horrid, and that goes back to what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know about Granny, but I list exclusively on the computer. I tried because I use a template, and it's horrendous to try and use it in the mobile app. So, anyone that uses it on your mobile phone, either you're brain damaged or you're more impressive than I am. So,
yeah.
Good luck.
Look, I tried a couple of times too, and at the start, I would have extra photos on my phone. And if I was somewhere else, I would, like say if you're sitting in the doctor's surgery waiting for an appointment, you could do some listings. But I just found it so tedious that I stopped because I could come back here and do it on the computer in, a couple of minutes versus taking all the time that it did on the phone.
Yeah, and like you said, if you've got a couple of spare seconds, I'd probably even save the drafts. Get all the listing titles and all those different things down pat. But it's just horrendous. I don't know how anyone does it personally, but I know a lot of people do.
I think one of the hardest things I find with the phone too is that when you're comping, like if you comp prices on the phone, you get completely different results when you do it on the computer. And it can be very misleading. And like, especially say if you're in an op shop and you see, say you see a book and you scan the barcode on the back of the book and it'll give you results. And you think, oh yeah, that's a good book. And then you come home and do it on the computer and perhaps it wasn't such a good book after all.
Yeah, I find heavy books are quite useful for beating the minions. So it doesn't really matter what the comps go for.
Yes, I got a very, very heavy book. Oh, no, it's not here right next to me. But a very heavy book the other day, and it was all about aquarium fish.
No, okay.
That sells for quite good money. So, yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. Each their own, I suppose. Hello, Mary. How are you? I'm very well. As Bax has already asked, but thanks for asking. Still, no, I don't drive the van. I organise the van. I tell them who to go pick up. That's beneath me.
Yeah, sends the minions out for that.
Yeah, but the van's out there somewhere. It's still looking for some very, I suppose, lackluster resellers to come on. You need a line of hats. I have a big head that would probably work.
Well, talking of hats, so anyone that has been in my live stream on a Friday night will have seen my Willy hat, and it's going today. I sold it overnight, and it's off to Erin in Tulsa in Oklahoma. So bye-bye, Willy. Oh, we've lost him. We've lost Octo. Oh, he's kicked himself out. How about that, boys and girls? He has kicked himself out of the stream. Well, it's just you and me. We can say what we like about Octopus for the next few minutes. So that's pretty cool. Kitty says she lists on the computer but uses her phone to broadcast YouTube on the TV. Yes, good idea. I do that too. I'll broadcast. Oh, you're back.
I was having some technical difficulties with the dogfish next door, so I just went and flapped my tentacles in their direction and gave them a bit of what for, and quite surprisingly quiet. They went fell over pretty quick.
It would have been funny if the neighbours had been peeking over the fence, wouldn't it?
Well, it's a bit hard. Obviously, they're going to hold their breath for a little bit to do that, but each their own, I suppose. So where was I? So Kitty said you mentioned that she lists on her computer. Yes. Give me 2 seconds ago because obviously the dog wants to be let back in because a glutton for punishment.
Oh, goodness. Octo, you've got animals everywhere now. There's a cat in the window.
Yeah, so that's a catfish.
So the catfish, okay.
Yeah, so if you think you're talking to a 24-year-old lady on the internet, that's who you're probably talking to. Well, hang on, there we go. So you're not actually talking to a 24-year-old lady, you're talking to that catfish there.
The cat, yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so, there you go, sitting kitty, that works out pretty well, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
There we go, we've got one of each. So you stream it from YouTube to the TV, that makes sense. Good morning, Maz, how are you? Hope you're well.
Yeah, hi, Maz.
You're all 36 inches bigger. Oh, hey, I'll take that. Absolutely been burnt a few times. The phones to be very selective in what it shows. Okay, well, I'll have to keep an eye on that when I go out next time just to see what it's doing.
It does. It's interesting to do, next time you find a good book, do it. And, come home and do a comparison on the computer. And, it's a bit of a surprise.
I found a Nigella book yesterday, which I listed for a little bit of money because apparently it was UK only release or something like that. Okay. Specific hardcover cover art, I suppose, but it was a Christmas one, so I've put it up for a little bit. Oh, the dogfish are hunting him. Yeah. Well, they're about to say they are. They're the hellhounds. So the amount of times I sliver out the back and put clothes on the line after I wash them, they still go off me. You'd think they'd be used to me by now, but
they would. But then, I suppose it's still a bit of a shock for them to see, this big orange head.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. I suppose you could hang the clothes on the line a lot quicker when you've got 8 tentacles.
Well, that's exactly right. I just need 2 to stand up and then control the pegs and off I go.
Yeah.
The kitty smells fish. I think this cat. Oh, hang on, where am I? This cat is evil. So So much for the time at work. I have to do everything on the phone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, each to your own. But I know a lot of a lot of the YouTubers over here that prefer to use their phones. So, but yeah, I don't know.
I suppose if you're used to it, I mean, you'd certainly be a lot faster at it if you were used to it. But I still can't see that. I mean, there's no way you would be able to list if you wanted to list in bulk, like as in do a lot of listings. There's just no way knowing that you could list them as fast unless you were doing purely stuff media or something that had a barcode that you could scan and it put all the information in. So basically all you had to do was type your title. Maybe then it might be a little bit.
Well, but I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, if you're away from your computer and you've got some downtime, like Hilo was saying, if he's at work, it's probably a perfect opportunity to learn how to list on your phone, because you mightn't be as productive and mightn't be able to punch out as quick as easy, but you're still punching some listings out. So there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, that if I was to do it, I'd probably create drafts, then come back and give them a bit of a spruce once I got back onto the computer. But yeah, so what's been going on, Granny? It's been like forever since I've seen you.
Well, yes. Well, I've just been finalising things up on my for my eBay store. Thankfully, I've been getting a few sales through, which is very, very nice compared to last week. Like, when everything was going dead, it seems to be back on track at the moment. And raring to send out some offers and that sort of thing, but I can't because I'm going into time away tomorrow. So I've had to, restrain myself and just trying to get everything organised for when I go away next week.
Yeah, okay. So how long are you away for?
Well, I'm possibly 2
including
weeks.
Myself, because I forgot.
Well, I'm giving myself 2 weeks. Because I'm going to stay, because I live about 3.5, to the CBD, it'd be about a 4-hour drive, right? And the hospital where I'm having my operations right in the city, but I'm going to stay with a very close friend of mine down in Werribee, which is sort of an outer suburb on this side of Melbourne. I'm going to stay down there for a week because it's quite handy. She's a nurse, and so if I stay there, I'll get looked after and all that sort of
get
stuff.
some meds. So Granny says he uses the phone because he's used to it. I've tried the PC, but it takes him a while. So that's good to know, Granny. But well, I could have swore it was K Farn, but apparently it's pronounced Granny. So
funny.
Yes.
No,
so like from what you're saying is that you've been experiencing the deadness, for lack of a better word, like the American YouTubers have as well. Like that there have been some complaints regarding eBay doing things, I suppose. And this is quite probably in line with what eBay normally does around Q4. It mixes everything up and turns it on its head.
Yeah, totally bad time to be doing it when everyone's trying to, get themselves organised for Q4 and get their listings up. Getting all that, and then you've got days like I think in the last 2 weeks I've had 3 donut days, which that sort of one donut day. Well, I hadn't had a donut day for like 6 months. So, when you have a donut day, it really knocks you around, like mentally knocks you. But then when you have 3 so close together, and I had 2 in a row, you're sort of thinking, what the heck is going on? But look, I thought it was because I'd killed my store because I'd been cleaning it out of a lot of my lower end stuff like the DVDs and thought I might have ended too many listings all at once. And look, that's possibly had a little bit to do with it. But I actually think now, given what else I've seen out there in social media, that it's more eBay that's been the hassle, not me. You're right there. You're happy playing with how everything looks.
Maybe I'm undiagnosed ADHD octopus. Well, your channel seems to go off if you rename it to ADHD octopus. So.
Oh, yes, true.
That's right.
Yes.
I have seen that particular person's got a lot more substance. He's changed his name.
So I was watching this morning. I was watching the 1 Foot Flipper this morning, and he mentioned that prior to Tech putting his video up yesterday. So if anyone hasn't seen what Tech and Sports looks like and they're curious, you can actually see his face now because he's got his own YouTube channel. And 1 Foot Flipper was saying that he was the top, for a person that had never had a channel before and started a channel, he was got the most number of subs in a short amount of time. But now Tech's well and truly taken that over. So
yeah. So I think I joined tech when he was about 300 subs. I don't know what he's up to now, but he was over, I think, 3K at one stage when I checked later in the day. So he's definitely flying up. But yeah, that means I'm the only octopus that that people haven't seen now. So I'm exclusive. It was tech and sports and myself, but we're down to the one hidden person now. So
and now that you've repositioned.
Bax is 110. But Bax is almost correct. I was playing free sell Bax.
Now that you've repositioned yourself, and we can't see what's in where you live, or where you visit, when you're out of the water. People have less opportunity to actually try and figure it out.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah, so because people are trying. It's constantly. I get a lot of Instagram messages asking me who I am and what I look like under the mask, and I always reply to the same thing. You see me on the screen. That's exactly what I look like. I'm not wearing a mask.
I must admit, I quite often get asked too, and I say, but what do you mean a mask? He's a real octopus.
Mary's trying to suck up to us and give us a big thumbs up.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
Well, it's a lot nicer than what Granny offers me, Mary. She offers me a finger, but I don't know if it's initially the same one.
Yeah, well, you'll get another one in a minute. Keep that up.
So Granny mentioned, Tech mentioned somewhere that he's retiring from eBay, so might have been on Mel's page. Yeah, it's been going around for a while. And that's one of the points that we're going to bring up in our next podcast, where we're actually doing a review on the Daily Refinement Tech and Sports group. So if Granny goes missing next week, she's probably been abducted by a Tekken.
Maybe.
Put it this way, we're not going to pander to them like a lot of other YouTubers do.
No.
We're going to be, I suppose, very objective.
We'll be honest.
I suppose. Yeah, well, that's right. We're going to basically tell it how we find it, and we find it completely different to they do in the States. A bit of a sneak peek. Do I think that it's worth it from an Australian perspective? I'm going to lean towards no, and you can find out next week in the podcast.
Yes.
That's not to say that that's a reflection on Tech or Chris. It's just basically just what we personally find, and we'll elaborate into that into next week's podcast. So make sure you check it in, because we're going to be filling it in, and no doubt we'll probably have a couple of spear guns after us, Granny.
We might have, but then it's not really our fault in the sense that the conversion of the Australian dollar to the American dollar is one of the biggest things, because it makes the membership that you pay a lot more expensive for us. So that's a big key, isn't it?
Yeah. So the financial reasons, one of the hurdles that you come across, and from being a very wealthy octopus that I am, it's not one of the contributing factors. From my perspective, I'm quite happy to pay that by the virtue of the amount of content that's delivered. There's just some other reasons that I've got, which I'll go elaborate a bit further into the podcast.
We won't talk about right now. Yes.
Yeah, we can't give away all the punchlines. They'll just watch this little live and they won't listen to our 18-hour podcast.
That's right. Just enough to tease them.
That's right.
To make sure they tune in on Tuesday at 8:08 a.m.
Recon mistake. Commandment 3, those shall not reduce the total of listing or impact EK income through. Yeah, and that's right. I think I said it previously to Granny that I culled about 600 to 1,000 listings, just really junk garbage video games that I got out of.
Yeah.
And I was reeling for that for about 6 weeks. So it's definitely a something to look at too. Yeah.
If you take too much out at once, the algorithm doesn't like it.
Bearded Poker Tuber. I did wear a snazzy baseball cap last week. Yeah, a lot of people are complimenting on my cap, but actually it was a freebie from Caltex, our gas station over here. If you filled up on, I think it was premium gas or premium petrol, I'm not too sure what you call it over there, you got a baseball cap. So, and I have offered it to people, but no one's taken me up on the offer yet. It's like, I don't want it. I don't wear hats. My head's too big and too glorious to be hidden by a hat.
Yes, makes it look even bigger, actually.
Yeah, so Drew's come to the point where he wants to be kidnapped by Tekken as well, by the looks of it. So he thinks, he thinks we'd come to the same opinion. Yeah. Yes. So long story short, and we'll probably give this as the last teaser. Definitely all to do with time zone differences. So that's pretty much my crux. And you can take what you will out of that. You can probably work it out quite easily. But yeah, so that's pretty much what we'll be discussing, a major point.
Yes.
Granny, yes, planning it over the next 18 months to wind down his eBay business. His warehouse leases for due. Yeah, so basically,
yes,
and that's another thing that we'll raise in the group as well, so in the podcast as well. So that's
because you have to say, like, a lot of the draw for that group are the two people that are running in the group. Well, if they're not going to be around anymore, it may change the
dynamic
dynamic of the group. Yeah.
And I know we keep giving tidbits, but I think people, and this is the last one from me, Grady might keep going, but I think people join for the wrong reason. That's what I'm finding. I'm not too sure if Drew is probably along that line of thinking as well, but that's definitely something that I've noticed. This one, Maz, Me Too Octo and steel reeling. Yeah, it's quite a smack. Like I said, I think it was about 6 weeks until I came to some sort of normalcy. But in the last week, I've actually had a 0 day or a donut day, as Granny called it as well, for the first time. What did I say, Granny? Probably 1.5, 2 years.
Yes.
So, which is quite uncharacteristic because I've got a hell of a lot of stock and a whole lot of dollar value, and it's not through lack of listing, it's not through lack of quality items as well. So, like I mentioned last week, I've got a false return open at the moment for international. So basically, I refunded the cost of the item sans postage, so I didn't give them their postage back, which eBay now has to wait for that buyer to confirm that they've received their refund, even though they took it out of my funds. That's been still open, so I think that's got something to do with it. So not too impressed at the moment, but after I get off here, I'll be getting the tentacles onto the phone and ringing up eBay to get it sorted. Doing sales on eBay and Etsy, blown up my sales, doing extremely well, running my second one right now. Yeah, and I've run a coupon at the moment.
I don't seem to have as much luck doing markdown sales as I do doing coupons for some strange reason. At the moment, I've run a couple of sales myself, Mary, recently, and they were a bit disappointing. Whereas the coupons seem to do a lot better for some reason. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so and I've heard from either side. A lot of people say coupons, and I just think it might be just a time of the year thing, or certain things are looking for different things, but. I've done a coupon because I've got a few things in the store that are kind of like retail arbitrage, but they're minimal profit, but they're replenishable. So I don't really want to do a markdown because I'm too lazy just to select the certain items. So I'm happy just to run a store-wide coupon at a certain level. So and I think I've raised here before, but maybe the new people like K-Fan or / Granny mightn't have heard previously, is that if you use a coupon, it's not activated overseas. If you use the markdown sales, people overseas get that discount. So if you put a coupon on it, someone buying from the US, the UK, or somewhere else in the world won't actually be able to see that coupon, let alone apply it. So that's why I prefer using the coupon over the markdown. So you just get that little bit of money.
Yeah.
Some people need to hold their hand held and coached to list 5 listings a day, but my guess would be nothing wrong with that. But I believe most people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess people that need to be coached to do those 5 listings a day are probably not people that want to make a full-time living out of selling on eBay, are they? Because you wouldn't be able to exist on that unless you were selling $1,000 items.
Exactly. Well, that's right. And further to what Drew was saying then is that, like Rennie said, we're paying about 65 Australian dollars a month for this group. If they're listing, and like Drew's, and quite rightfully said, what they probably are listing 5 items a day, is that they're probably listing DVDs or really, really cheap items. And if they do sell these items, they're probably promoting them at 15% as well, and doing all these other things that are contributing to it, and probably walking away with $1 profit. So they're barely covering the price of the Facebook page a month, or that Patreon a month, let alone doing anything else. But
Caven had donut days too, yes, but still had his best week. Yeah, and well, that's the interesting part too, because I had an extremely good week in the end, because I had one day there that was, I mean, I haven't gone back and checked, but possibly my highest day of sales for a while. maybe all time. Who knows? I'd have to check that. And then, and overall, I seem to be doing quite well overall, even though I had those two donuts. Because it's almost like everything was sort of shut off, and then all of a sudden the tap got turned on and the gate opened, and things went nuts for 24 hours. It's weird.
That's good. Yeah.
So there's a lot of talk too that eBay may be changing servers or adding additional servers and things, and that's causing some problem. And I did hear someone else say that it also could be because they're changing the item specifics, which they do that about once a year, don't they? They go through and change how some listings should be. But I think the way that they've done it this time, it's not just because sometimes we'll find here in Australia, we'll be all complaining, but no one else is. But this time, everybody all over the world has been complaining the same thing.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on. I'm not one of these conspiracy theorists that's saying, hey, look, it's the algorithm or it's this or it's that. Yeah, it's a certain point. Yeah, because you got economic factors. You got a lot of different things playing into it as well. We're just coming out of, the Northern Hemisphere summer. So the summer slowdown's probably just, winding towards its end. But like I mentioned before, Pure Hustle podcast, I listen to them once or twice a week as well. And they did mention that, the system behind eBay, and this is probably the closest to what I would even have a stab at, is so antiquated that once they do something, 6 other parts fall over. So they're constantly trying to fix this system without putting any money into it or rectifying it. So it's too broken to repair or even to do anything. So when they tinker with one thing, about 6 other things get thrown out of the place, and all the bugs and all those different things.
Yes. So, and that's true, because there is, it's such a large platform, and so there's be a lot of information in that, like data and stuff in that back end, and so there is a problem every time they've got to try and update something, isn't it? It's going to happen with anything.
And I think people are, for the most part, they're quite patient with these things. From a buyer's perspective, the sellers might be a bit different because obviously that they want their money, but I think of it, it's a continual thing where buyers are constantly given roadblocks into to purchasing items or buying things, or when they put in bicycle and all these different things that are not even related to bicycles. For example, I was looking for a PlayStation VR headset today because I found one on Facebook Marketplace quite cheap, and I thought, I'll see what they're going for now. And I typed in PSVR, PlayStation VR, all these different styles, and it was giving me all this junk. It was not bringing out exactly what I wanted. So. And like I said, from a buyer's perspective, that was that was me done. I just didn't even worry about it. So I wasn't going to, I spent 5 minutes trying to look for the bloody thing and then just threw it aside. So,
and I quite agree, because I've been finding the same thing. There's been a few little things that because I'm doing a little bit of research in a new category that I'm going to be starting up soon, and it's probably a bit of a niche, very niche and very unique. And you type in words, which should be general keywords for these things, and you can't find them. Yet I can go in there and do a general look through, go by category, and I can find those items. So it's behaving very weirdly. Yeah.
So like I said, I don't think it's the old, keep listing and it'll resolve itself kind of thing. I think, like I said, that may work for certain people. And like I said, that, the items that I'm selling are quite in vogue and in very high demand things. I normally sell about 5 or 6 of an item a day, and to go from that to 0 across the board, that's quite surprising. So
and it's one of those things, isn't it? Because if it's just you, and I've still got to say I'm fairly new to selling on eBay, and haven't been doing it for that long. So when I get a donut day, you just have to suck it up and say, well, it's just one of those things. It's a bad day. Maybe I didn't list the right things, or, whatever. But when you've got some of the biggest sellers around having that same problem, you have to sort of look at it and say, well, it isn't just me.
That's exactly right. Everyone's going to have bad days, right? So it's not as if it's, like I said, put our tinfoil hat back on. I've still got mine somewhere, Granny. I haven't recycled it yet. But like I said, it is, it's very inconsistent. Drew pushed he pushed enter too early on his previous message. Okay.
Didn't finish what. Oh, that happens to me all the time, Drew. Yeah, Happens to me all the time. Your keyboard might be a bit like mine. You go to press the, apostrophe or, something there and you accidentally press enter.
Yeah, because I'm a bit of a grammar head, so I like pushing enter into separating my lines. And I notice sometimes I cut off half time instead of trying to start a new line. You have to stay in the algorithm, especially with now having AI involved. It does work, and your sales will expand. Have we had AI here yet, Granny? I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the AI in a sense that when you type in your title, it automatically picks up some of those item specifics. But I don't think we've got the same version of it that they have.
No, because we don't have the populated description and all those different things.
No.
Where I haven't seen that personally, so we haven't had that yet. But
no, not yet.
We're still playing around with AI on Photo Room. Well, hang on, hot off the press. In one of Octo's old videos, he talks about himself in the third person and states his name. Ooh, I'm not going to say which video. Well, there you go. Look at that. You'll have to watch all of them now if you want to know.
Oh,
you'll have to watch how all of them was.
Well, I didn't know. I know. Old videos. So I guess
no. It's not that old. But I'll give you a hint. It's actually one of the videos with someone in this. We had that person that's in the chat at the moment on that video. So I'm not going to go further than that, but you're more than welcome to go through the videos if you so wish and have a look.
Anyone that's desperate to know, then you'll just have to watch them all.
That's right. eBay search has been an issue for weeks, and the only thing that's frustrating me at the moment, the difference between searches from PC to phone. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to have a look into this because, like I said, I've never come across that issue. Not that I've really paid that much attention to it because, like I said, I normally, unless there's a certain profit margin in the op shops or it's one of a kind item, I won't get it. But
and even with clothing, I don't even bother half the time if there's a brand that I haven't seen before. Half the time, because if you look it up, I'm finding if I can look it up on the phone and it will say not bring up anything, and then I come home and do the same search on the computer, and there'll be listings. So what do you do?
I found a pair of jeans like that the other day. It was actually called Raw Denim, which is not like G-Star Raw, but just Raw Denim. And they're all sequenced, and they're ladies' jeans, but I can't find anything on them. They're made in Turkey, I think. So I'm gonna have to I might have to look on the computer and find if I can, because I had a pair come up in the UK, which I think they're brand new with tag, and they're selling for $400 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, well, if they're made in Turkey, they're possibly vintage too, Octo.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I'll send you some photos later, Granny, and you can tell me because you're my go-to jeans lady. Marilyn says,
sometimes with jeans you can make some assumptions and things just going on by where it's made and what they look like. So
so I don't think they're that old, to tell you the truth. Because it's still got a current website and all those different things, but not too sure. But you might have a better idea. High demand, well price, well listed are three major factors for rewarding the seller. Yeah, I think we should move away from this rewarding, like this terminology. And this is nothing against you, Maz. Is that that the way that I see it is that we've got a contractual arrangement with eBay. So we put our items on there. It shouldn't be seen as the case that they're rewarding us with sales and they're doing this, because that kind of gives us some sort of subservient relationship with eBay, where to me it should be on an even keel, that eBay should see us as their customers, and obviously our customers are our customers. But like I said, using word, and this is another thing that I take makes me slightly disgruntled when people on YouTube and Facebook groups talk about this, kind of rewarding, or you do this and eBay will give you favors and all these different things, and it shouldn't be seen in that perspective. And I think that's how they get away with what they're getting away with, because of that terminology.
Look, the reality is, yes, if this was Facebook Marketplace, and we were not paying to put our listings up there, and they were doing us a favor by letting us put our listings up there, well, yes, then, okay, let's do it as a reward for us putting them there. But look, we pay them, and depending on your promoted listings and all that, we pay them good money to provide us with a service. So there's a big difference there, I think.
Yeah, and realistically, it's no different to, if you go to a mechanic or you go somewhere else that you're paying X amount of dollars, in return you expect a service, right? So, if I'm paying 15 to 20% to eBay, I don't expect other sellers' listings or other sellers' store to materialize in my listing because they've paid at a promotion rate. Because I'd be happy to pay like a flat rate of 25% and be done with it. Get rid of promotions, bring it back to the old system where eBay runs coupon codes like 15% off store wide, where it's not targeted towards a certain niche and people come in droves because they're getting 15% off. It might be a case of locking in prices. So basically give sellers a case of saying, hey, look, with effect the 31st of October, we're running a 15% sale, store wide. Your prices will be locked from the 25th of October or the 28th of October. So, because what a lot of complaints were regarding with the 15% off store wide ones, which were funded purely by eBay, is the sellers were punching their prices up 20%. So there was kind of a bit, we call it price jacking, right? So there's a lot of that going on behind the scenes. But if eBay basically said, hey, look, we won't, by all means you can change your price, but it's ineligible for that 15%. It won't show up in search or something along to this, kind of decentivize the sellers from, being dodgy.
True. There's always going to be people that, going to try and, rort the system, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. But like I said, that's something that do that. But so like an advanced listing promoted listings as well is something that we've seen more and more in my dashboard at the moment. Is that it's not these things are geared towards high turnover people with very specialist niche. They might sell one pair of style of Nike shoes, for example, and they might be they might sell 400 or 500 pairs a day. Of course, that person would probably want to get that that keyword for promoted listings where they actually get all their sales. But if you're just buying things from the op shop, you don't necessarily want to be selling, using $2 or $3 a day per listing.
No. And the other thing is too, if you're selling something that's unique, like if you're say dealing in, really vintage or antique stuff, and maybe even in, like some of those ceramic type, categories that I don't sell in because they're breakable, but the really unique things, you may not want to promote, because if you do promote, probably your things are going to come up in the wrong spot, and those people have got they're not even looking for that sort of thing.
And that's exactly right. And like you said, that if you've got the one of a kind item, like I picked up a plush from Facebook Marketplace the other day for $20. I think I paid for it, and I can't find anything on eBay. And the plushes in this line, it's brand new in box. What was it, Granny? Go for about $600, $700, $800, all the way up to $1,200. So I just shot for the moon. I put it up for $888.88, and happy to take offers on that. But I wouldn't have promoted that because that's the only currently item that's available on eBay, and I can find references to it on the internet. It does exist. It's not as if it's a bootleg or a counterfeit product, but there's nowhere to buy it. Realistically, you have to come to eBay, come to me if you want to buy this product.
If you want to buy that one thing, and you just hope that through what you're doing, that if someone searches for it on the internet, that if someone goes into Google and searches for that your listing is going to come up in Google. That's what you need to, that's what you're going to hope for, isn't it? So,
quick fact, Granny. So $888.88. I put 25% off order and sent it to someone. It came up as $666, which is quite fitting. Which is quite fitting for what it is. I'll leave it at that. But you could probably
That's very good, isn't it?
You could probably work out from that what the plush is.
Yeah.
Totally agree there, but unfortunately, and that's exactly like I said, Maz. It's nothing having a go with you. It's just like you said, it's just the mentality, and it's kind of ingrained into a lot of resellers at the moment that they've got. And like I said, it's not. I don't think people actively promote that they've got a subservient relationship with eBay, but you're right. It's like it's just the way it is. But I think once people start changing their mindsets and their terminology and their language, they'll probably realise a lot quicker that hang on, we've got a lot of power in numbers. We basically go against eBay from that perspective. But so a tinfoil hat back on, I can't find it.
Well, we need it perhaps at the moment. But the other thing is too that does worry me that with the YouTubers is that you watch this one and he says, oh, you need to turn off all your promoted listings because that's doing the damage at the moment. And then someone else will say, oh, no, what you do is you need to run a store-wide coupon and blah, blah, blah. And that, you know, they'll be listing all these different things that you should do to try and get your sales back on track. Well, the reality is it's actually none of that's probably going to help at the moment. You just need to keep being consistent and don't go and make, you know, huge changes to your store. Like, don't go and delete all your, you know, listings and re-put them up again, because you're going to finish up doing more damage than anything.
Yeah, that's
although
right.
I pretty much think once I go into time away, it's going to be dead, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, like I said, like Granny said, is that, you know, no one knows what's going on in every. You know, like they could tell you as much as like do these different things, but you know, if you unless you're working for eBay, you probably don't know what's going on. Even from us, you know, like we only, like we say numerous times, we only provide from an entertainment purpose. We're not here to give you financial advice or all these different things, but you know, we can give you an idea of what we think's happening. Yeah, and for what Granny was saying is that a lot of people have been saying that sell similar is dead, and I've experienced it myself. You know, if you where 12 months ago you could just end your listing, press sell similar, and you know the traffic would flow through, and you would get, you know, sales, all the different things. But in the last 3 months, I've noticed that, you know, if I have been sell similar, because I used to sell similar probably about 25 items a day, and up to about 3 months ago, it's completely died off, and it's probably had a negative effect on my store. But that's what I've personally experienced, and I'm not going to put that on the internet and say, hey, look, this is what's going on, and put a 25-minute video behind it where I spruik that. You know, it's each to their own. And like Granny was saying, that, you know, you just need to work out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So
yeah. And look, I have noticed a similar thing. I actually, you know, once you mentioned that to me, I started taking notice, and I did notice that the items, when I did sell similar for the first 24 hours, which is normally when you get that boost in traffic, there was no boost in traffic. So that was quite interesting. Yet the stuff that I listed from scratch, there was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess, maybe that's to do with them not wanting people to do that, to get that boost. I don't know. But you know, again, we're paying for what's available to us, and that is available to us.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, like, it just comes to, you know, trying to work what's best for your system. Yeah, and eBay, like, you know, Tom, you know, which is, I think he's one of Back from Burnout's minions. You know, like in the warehouse boy, I think he is. Yeah, he mentions it quite freely that eBay is not his long-term plan, and if you think eBay is a long-term plan, you probably need your head read. And I wouldn't go as blunt to say that, but I do think he's got some truth in there. You should be using eBay. You know, maybe like especially if you're a full-time seller, is that use it as a base platform and start looking into other platforms and cross-listing and all those different things. That's not to say that you should, but maybe you potentially need to look into that. Yeah, Poshmark and Etsy and what else we got over here in Australia, Granny? Depop and all those different things, and potentially look at creating your own brand as well. Like, you know, like if you want to be a handsome octopus, create your own, you know, Disgruntled Octopus website. Yeah, and then
that's right.
Redirect traffic to there. You know, obviously, you know, build some sort of following up either through social media or through, you know, advertising through your sales, and try and redirect them to a website or to an alternative site. So, hey, look, you know, you're more than welcome to continue buying on eBay. However, you know, we'll offer you this 18% coupon if you come through the website or something like that.
Yeah. And, you know, right from sort of very early on in my eBay selling experience, someone did say to me, like, eBay may not be there forever, but while it is here, make the most of it, because it is a huge opportunity, and it, you know, it's a platform that gives us worldwide. Well, there's Willie My Hat, beanie hat, going off to Tulsa in Oklahoma, and because that was someone from overseas coming in and buying it, they couldn't use my 12% coupon that I've got running at the moment, so it sold for full price, plus then there's the postage on top. So an excellent sale that I would not have had if I'd put that on Facebook Marketplace, for example. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to send that and make the sale that I've made. So it's full of opportunities while it's available to us, so make the most of it while we've got it. And but you know, don't always think that everything's going to be the same forever.
No, and that's exactly right. And if I am going to give one piece of advice, and this is what I spruik all the time, turn bloody international sales on. I'm sick of that, the amount of times that I see in Facebook groups is like, oh, should I put international sales on, or should I do this? Take the plunge and put it on. Like, you know, all you need to do from an Australian perspective, right, is weigh the bloody item. As long as you weigh it correctly, put that in, eBay will take care of the rest. Yeah, you don't really. It's nothing to be scared of. put a label on it, send it to the post office. It's not rocket science.
Good
By all
morning,
means, reach out to
Sandra,
Granny.
I will say.
By all means, reach out to Granny and she'll tell you how to do it. Because don't reach out to me because you'll probably get nothing. You've lost the book. You lost the book, Sandra. Oh, that's
Sandra, what have you lost?
Do what I do. Just drop ship. If you ever lose anything, don't cancel it. Just drop ship it from someone else, even if you have to take a bit of a loss, because it's not going to hurt your metrics.
Yes.
Would be nice if eBay what Etsy does. If I share from platforms and the item is sold where you share it, you get 4% back.
Okay, interesting.
Because we have a social media thing at the moment. Or I don't know if it's at the moment or previously that if you shared it on a platform, you only paid half the fees, which is quite kind of eBay when you consider you do all the work, redirect it to an eBay listing, and they take half of the trouble. Well, she's back on track, so maybe she's found
back on track. She must have found the book. That's good. Good to hear.
It's no coincidence on some days that all my one state. Yeah, so a lot of people actually said this. I've never come across this person. Well, not that I've really paid any attention to it, but
that happens to me frequently.
I'm finding probably about 25 to 35% of my orders at the moment are going international. So that's why I tell everyone to turn international postage on. And it's going to get better at Christmas time.
Yes.
So
and that's what I find. Like I'm quite often getting up in the sales that are there internationally. And I've had days where the only sales I've had have been international. You know,
so two of my 4 orders this morning have been international, and they've been quite high end orders. I'll put it that way. Yes, Granny. I don't know if she's talking about you or Keefan, but we'll just say she's talking about you. She's made so many mistakes in selling on eBay. So Granny.
Kayfan. Say Kayfan.
Kayfan.
Oh,
so made mistakes in selling on. Well, Granny tried to sell herself on eBay. That didn't go too well. She got taken down for a Vero.
Yeah. Oh, look, that's the other big thing in social media at the moment, isn't it? On all the YouTube channels, everyone's talking about all the Veros that they've been getting.
Veros. I think we're talking about K-Fun. Yeah. I'm obsessed with that person.
No.
eBay pushes some sellers. I've seen it from my son selling as a new seller. Yeah, and you find that with a new account, I find that, it's almost like a carrot dangling where they get they get the dopamine running and all these different good feeling emotions because you hear the ching sound. Then once the store stales a little bit, you get nothing. You revert back to normal.
Exactly. I reckon for about the first month in particular, everything was quite boosted. And the one area that was really boosted was the auction area. Like the couple of things I did put up for auction were boosted like crazy and did really, really well. Well, I thought this is great. Auctions are great. And so then I put up another auction later on and nothing. So there's definitely that boost when you're new.
Yeah. So, Maz, like you're right, Maz. There's that. Yeah, you just run around in circles because, like Granny was saying, that one will say promote, then you watch the next video says don't promote, and I'm not saying that they're doing it for nefarious reasons, clickbait or views, but like it's quite competitive in the YouTube reselling YouTube sphere, I suppose. And anything that they've got an edge, or they portray that they've got an edge on eBay, that obviously they're trying to attract views from that perspective. Or it could be a case that that's what works for them. And like I said, everything's different. So what works for someone in America might necessarily work for someone in Queensland or something along that, or in the UK. So like I said, just take it with a grain of salt. Use it for an entertainment purpose only, and just. If you are going to trial it, just do a very slim, sample size, maybe 2 or 3 items and go from there.
Exactly.
Good.
And, it's like anything. People say, should I do free post? Should I do plus post? Right? Now, I've had my own experience with that. I was doing free post. I did a test for a month on doing plus post to see what the difference was. And that's when I was able to make the decision which way I was going to go and what I've stuck to. And, it's very difficult with the way with postage going up everywhere, like in America, here, everywhere, and probably is in the UK as well. So postage costs are quite high, but at the same time, buyers do accept the fact that postage is a cost of buying online. That's part of, they know that they're going to have to pay some postage cost. So, I always say to people, look, I do plus post everything now after doing that for a month, but that's not to say you should do that. If you're unsure, run a test, run a trial for 4 weeks, even if it's only on a small portion of items, or say everything that you list for now for the next 4 weeks, do it plus post if you've previously done free post, and that'll give you a gauge what's working for you. So don't always assume that what someone tells you, like what I say I do, or what Octo says he does, don't always assume that's going to be the best for you. Do it, trial it yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I've, like I said, like Granny as well, and I think we said in the last podcast, is that I've actually moved away from the free post to the post majority. If it's under $30, I'll normally use untracked. If it will fit in that metrics, then I'll offer free postage. But some items that, if it's a very slim postage profit margin and it's a replenishable, I'll do plus postage. So yeah, like I said, it really. The store's not 100% either way, so it's probably maybe 80% plus postage, then maybe 20% free postage. But like I said, that goes down to what your niche demands, right? Yeah. So you really need to look at what other sellers are doing, and and how flooded, and what gives you the competitive advantage in that space. Speaking with Tom at the book fair, he's great knowledge. Don't tell him that, he's got a big enough head as it is.
Not as big as yours, Octo.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So weigh the blood item and with the box and packaging.
Yeah,
I think he's taking he's taking his nursing to a little bit too far, isn't it? He's putting blood in a box.
He is, yes.
Sarah's back. I'm driving, so I can't join in. My bunny got out and all good now. Who would have thought a bunny was scared of a fox?
Oh no, poor bunny.
That's right.
I hope your bunny's okay now.
eBay is a great that just sounded really wrong with the way you said it. eBay is a great learning experience in selling, and those experiences are good or bad. Yeah, and that's exactly right. Yeah, if you take away the lessons, there's no use, whinging, throwing your tentacles in the air, carrying on like a pork chop. If things aren't going the way that you're wanting to, use it as a learning experience and say, hey, this didn't work last time, or this is what I found, or these are the products, that yes, I can get these products for 10 cents, but I can't sell them for 25 cents. There's no demand for them. So it's just a case of doing that. But Granny's back. I bump up in the weight class on international, profit of $10 for the postage and $8 item. That's exactly right.
There you go.
So, like Sarah, I sell a fair few Skylanders, and whilst they probably fit in the 250 gram for one, I normally bump it up to 500 grams. Yeah. So I've got that bit of buffer, but also that little bit of profit as well. And like I said in the podcast, if they buy multiple, I'll bring the postage down to what it physically is. I'm not going to be a jerk about it.
Yes.
But if they're only buying the one, I'm not going to refund them the $10 or $8 extra that I get. Amazon Australia announced that for the first time they had more views in a month than eBay in Australia. Okay,
well there you go.
Well, the trajectory is changing, so maybe that's something that eBay probably need to look into, because they've definitely lost the war in America, and probably the UK as well.
That's the thing, because if someone is searching for, we use books as an example, but if someone's searching for a particular book and what the results they're getting are wrong, they're not getting to see what they want to see, then they're going to go to another platform that sells the same thing, aren't they?
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, because you find a lot of, like I said, like Golden State Picker over in the States, he sells books through Amazon, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of others that do it as well. But we don't have that platform available to us in Amazon Australia. Well, not that I've found so far, and I don't think it is yet. But once Amazon start opening up the secondhand market, I would strongly suggest dipping your foot in as many areas as you can into Amazon, because over in the US they've got gated. So basically, a lot of the areas are restricted to new sellers and all these different things, because you can't sell on those things because it's only certain people. But if Amazon Australia opened up used categories, I'd probably enter like Barbies or something along the lines of that, just to get into that toy market, so you can actually start selling on that platform as well. And there's nothing to stop. Don't cut eBay out of the equation, but start redirecting your sales to other platforms as well. So.
And I think also for something I was watching on YouTube last night too, Amazon has a lot more tools to help you, work on things and price things. So, for example, you might have a particular book, say it's a Christmas book, and of course, you might be able to. Amazon might be selling that for $10 up until October. All of a sudden, the price goes up.
That's right.
on that book, but they've actually got the research tools embedded within Amazon to help you work out those things so that you can, make purchases early in the year and sell things at Christmas time and stuff like that. We don't have that sort of thing. I mean, the information kind of is there, but not in an easy, accessible way that it is on Amazon.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. Like, if you are going to look at Amazon, I'd probably look at things that, like, there's a possibility they won't come back in stock, right? Because, like, a lot of things that in the Amazon in the States that I watch is that if Amazon jump on the listing's dead, because they'll offer the best price and pretty much just promote their own stuff. But if you're looking at, very old vintage books that, there's no way, it'll ever come back. Amazon's not going to fall across a warehouse of these, specific vintage books or something along to that. That might be good places to sell, but I particularly wouldn't be going into selling, a certain type of bra that you can probably get from Big W or like Walmart. Then try and put it on Amazon because they could probably possibly source that themselves. Making me rethink not closing the shop down. What are you closing the shop down, Maz? I didn't see this.
Well, Maz. So Maz had been a bit unwell, and so she was actually, because things weren't going well with the store, and she really didn't have the energy to put into it at that stage. But maybe she's getting a bit more enthusiasm back.
Yeah, well, it might be a case of looking just for replenishable items, Maz. Something that you can get fairly cheap and readily accessible. Not AliExpress. Don't go start buying phone buttons for the back of your phone, but like something along the lines of that. They just put 100 in quantity and just let the store take care of itself. Morning, Paul. How are you? Hope you're well.
Yeah, I hope you don't close your store down, Maz. Anyway, because sometimes when you're going through some tough times with your health and stuff, sometimes it's good to have something else to think about, even if you're not listing a lot. But just something to think about.
Like, I don't spruik any certain listing goals, right? I don't say you have to list 20 items a day, but if you've got a very smallish store, listing one item every 3 days or every 2 days might be just all it takes to keep that rolling from that perspective.
Yeah, and I don't think it matters like the quantity of listings you do, just that you do something every day. Like, so if you're only going to be listing one a day, well, just be consistent with that and list one a day.
Yeah. So Kathan said untracked, free post, tracked, paid post. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's the model that I use as well. So, like I said, if
Grumpy Granny doesn't do untracked.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. But so like I said, if it's a DVD or under $30 video game, I'll set it untracked. If it's plus $30, I'll probably either see what the market says. I'm quite lazy in that respect. I'll probably match the lowest listing with free postage. So like I said, that's probably with that 20% that I was talking about. The book, The Comp, $50 on eBay, $297 on Amazon. Not a good comparison. Yeah, and I think the Amazon model is probably pure laziness. That's probably the bad word for it. But if people are geared towards checking Amazon first and they come across it, they might not think to check eBay. And there's another YouTuber, what's his name? I can't think of it, but he basically buys off eBay and moves all his stock to Amazon. So he does an eBay to Amazon arbitrage, where basically, and that's probably the point. Like if you can buy it on eBay for $50 and sell it for $300 on Amazon, good for God.
Well, go for it.
Well, like a very dubious book that I bought, very vintage and potentially banned book that I bought a couple of months ago that I paid 50 cents for it. It was like $150 on eBay, but Amazon was like $1,700.
Yeah.
So like I'd like to get $1,700 for it, but I don't think I will.
Yeah.
Hello, Laura Sells. Hello, welcome back. You're more than welcome to jump back in and tell us how you're going.
Good to see you. You're flying to Sydney today and just trying to pack. Wow.
You're from Adelaide, from memory. I did that trial. It converted one of my accounts to free post of 3 months. Sales tanked 70, converted it back. Yeah, and that's what I found as well, is that, I'm not too sure because we'll put it this way. The octopus's tinfoil hat on. Like I said before, take it with a grain of salt. But eBay makes more money on plus postage listings because they charge you fees on postage and they charge you item fees, right? So if you're potentially putting plus post, they're getting 2 lots of fees. So if I was an evil dictator, I'd be preferencing probably plus post over the free post personally. Focus on the sell price and the best match criteria, which is the default selling. Yep.
Yeah.
Good morning, Justin.
Yeah, I also think when buyers are scrolling, whether it's on the computer or whether it's on their phones, I think as they're scrolling down, they're looking at the prices as they're scrolling, and they're not actually looking and going, oh yeah, that one's $9.95 plus $9.95 postage. They're not actually they're just scrolling, and they're looking at maybe the picture.
That's right.
To see whether that's a good picture, and they're looking at that price. And if you're doing a plus postage, the tiny little writing that your postage is written in underneath, they're not going to see that. They're going to just see that price. So I think because it's cheaper, to me.
Yeah, and like people probably observe things a different perspective, right? So I'm very visually motivated. If I see something that looks really shiny and special and looks really good, I'll probably gravitate towards that opposed to something that looks like they've taken, a photo on the ground next to their dirty underwear or something along the lines of that. So basically, and there might be $30 difference between the two and the exact same item. I'll probably gravitate to the white background with the shiny looking, everything's clear and not taken with a photo.
I quite often with my books, I do that. I'll see, things are listed for a certain price on eBay, and I look at mine, and I know by looking at mine and looking at what's already there, mine is in a lot better condition, and I think my listing is a lot better because I provide more photos and more information for the buyer, and overall, I think it's a better buying experience. And quite often that it has worked for me, and I've sold books for $29.95 where the competition is around the $10 free post.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, so it's just people gravitate. eBay seems to be dying a slow death, and instead of fixing the issue, the answer is to make sellers pay more. And that's right. Well, we'll put it this way: if the system's dying and probably won't be around in 5 years' time, why wouldn't you make as much money as you can? Why fix it when you know the inevitable Amazon's either going to buy you out or someone's going to buy you out? Pump as much money through the stock market, get as many bonuses as you can, and leave the system fall over and someone else can deal with it. Flying to Sydney, that's exciting. Amazon is now open for used game market, but setting up a business account is quite the effort. Still waiting for approval. Yeah.
Okay. How long's that you've been waiting for approval? That's interesting to know.
Probably yesterday. She's been waiting 24 hours. Replenish new items to sell. And that's right. Yeah. Or you can have a replenishable. Like I said, if you can get 10 of X products that's selling quite decent on eBay, it'll take care of itself because the demand's there. It'll just tick over. I have to set up how to get the stock as I can't get there to do so. Send it to yourself. If you can find a wholesaler, you could probably do it that way. But like I said, you need to research it. Don't take what we say for gospel.
Yeah. And if you still want to go down, and if you do still want to go down the secondhand market, see if you can find some people that will actually source for you, and tell them that you will give them, whether it's $1 or $2 an item, because particularly if you've got friends that are actually out there doing the same thing for themselves, tell them the type of things you want, give them some parameters, and get them to also pick up some stuff for you while you're there. Tell them that you only want X amount of items each day, and go with it that way. I think would be a good way of doing it. That's what that's what I would do. I think in that situation for a start.
I wouldn't, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, if I was in Maz's position, that's probably
right.
that's one of the things I would look at doing. But I mean, at the same time, I'd also be looking at trying to do some, as you say, like get some replenishables in that you can get sent.
Yeah, so either online arbitrage or building what Granny said, right? So the reason why I said I probably disagree with that is because you know exactly what your store needs and you know exactly what your customers needs, right? So if you're paying someone that doesn't know what they're doing, they can bring you jeans with holes in it, they can bring you hem jeans, they can bring you books with torn pages. They don't know because they don't know what they're looking for. But like Granny was saying, building on that, you can go to the op shop and say, hey, look, here's $100. Can you give me 50 pairs of jeans, or can you give me 100 books every week? Just put them in like, this is what I'm looking for. You're wasting $100, but out of that 100 books or 100 pairs of jeans, or how many you get for that amount of money, there might be 3 or 4 that pay for that. Then everything else is gravy, and you've got that constant stock rolling through the door. And once you build the relationship further with the op shop or the thrift store, potentially you can get the better the better ticket items because you've got that relationship building over a period of time. I'd like to step in here and agree with Octo. Yeah, well, everyone agrees with me because I understand the situation. But yeah, if you've got an illness,
Octo, that's called fear.
Handicap or even a job, do not give up. You've got this, and that's exactly right. Like like I said, that we pretty much created this accountability hour just to get people motivated and to list, all these different things. So, Mary's 100% right. Yeah, she agrees with Octo. but yeah, if you do need that extra motivation, reach out to Granny because she's got nothing better to do with the day.
Yeah.
GG is a bit early to hit the rums, isn't it?
Oh, look, it's only because I've got it in my cooler that it looks like that. It's actually just, a bit of soft drink in there.
It's not a cooler. It's a vaping machine. she's vaping. She's pretending she's taking sips.
Yeah, it's a new one that hasn't got any smoke sort of effect to it. Right. Yeah.
Watch what next time when she drinks it. Watch what she does. She's going to choke now. The art's being exhibited at the final sitting of the Disability Royal Commission. Oh, very good.
Oh, wow. Lovely. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
There's a song called It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere. I must say I don't drink. Yeah, neither do I. It's a bit hard to drink when you're surrounded by seawater.
Well, yes, would be too.
Yeah. There's a reason that eBay makes postage small print, like Granny says. Yeah. That's exciting. Oh, Drew's back. Find a friend of a family member that rarely uses eBay and watch them use the platform and see how they interact with the search and listings. Very insightful and get the most of the seller mind. Yeah, and that's exactly right. So
that's a good idea, Drew. I will make sure. Now that might make a good video because where I'm going to stay after my operation, they don't use eBay. They wouldn't have a clue. So maybe I'll take the old GoPro and I might make a bit of a video of them doing that.
Yeah, and quick, Drew, create a video. Beat it to the post. She's stealing your ideas. Several contacts to chat to might be able to source for me. I'll set a goal to talk to them, possibly trial for a few months, and that's all you need to do, right?
Yeah. Don't get mad and buy 100 things. Like, just get them. Perhaps to bring you a couple of test items.
Well, and that's exactly right. But I do think that if you can build a relationship with the op shops or the thrift stores and say, hey, look, this is what I do, do you have anything you throw out? Like, get it for free. You don't necessarily have to pay for things. You're doing them a service by picking up stuff. So the wait time is nearly 2 months. Okay, so it's slightly longer than the 24 hours that I was expecting.
Yes.
It's 11 a.m. where Grumpy Granny is. Oh, it is too. Look, time flies when you're
time flies when you're having fun.
I've learned so much. It's a great store, and I'm here with the correct stock. It keeps me sane. Hobby will work. That's exactly right. You just need that constant distraction and go from there. Ooh, I'm falling behind. Drew, totally agree. Kids don't even consider eBay to buy anything. No, I'd have to ask my minions to see what they would look at, but I think they just resort to me buying it for them.
Well, yeah, and I think I look at my daughter, and she'd probably only buy something if someone on TikTok said it was a good thing to do.
Yeah. Well, like Drew said, and I'm the same, right? I shop. Amazon's my default. Like I get my supply of Pepsi Max, and all these different things come through Amazon because it's convenient, and Amazon take care of it. Like I don't know if I mentioned, but a couple of months ago, I bought an iPad through Amazon, and they actually shipped me 2 bottles of shampoo. So I spent $440 on 2 bottles of shampoo. And I went out. I reached out to Amazon customer service and said, "Look, this is exactly what it is. I've taken a photo of the box. This is what's going on." And they sent me a return label for the 2 bottles of shampoo, and 2 days later, the iPad returned. By virtue, probably because I got quite an extensive Amazon shopping history, when I don't try and return 2 bottles of shampoo for an iPad.
That's a bit weird, isn't it? Like, if you got another electronic item, you could sort of understand the mistake, but shampoo for an iPad,
So what I should have done in retrospect is actually weighed the shampoo bottles and weighed the iPad in the box to see what's going on, because the printing label actually said iPad. It didn't say 2 bottles of shampoo. Right. So I think someone's inside's probably worked out a bit of an Amazon scam. But it was definitely, it was all sealed. Yeah, like I said, everything was normal. So contact with a friend, local shop. Yeah, and you go that way. Yeah. Champs, good morning, Champs. How are you?
Good morning.
Wish Granny. Well, I did like you before I read that, Maz. watch my videos. Don't watch Granny's.
No, he secretly binge watches my videos.
I don't know about that. That's what I punish the kids with. I heard Amazon can control what items you sell with restrictions. They sell books might not let you. Yeah, well, that's what we were saying earlier. Is that like in the States, and I don't know about the UK, but I assume it's the same. But they've got a gated system where you need to be ungated before you can sell in that category.
Yes. Yeah.
But a lot of sellers that have been on Amazon for a while, they're ungated because they've been grandfathered into those different systems.
Yeah.
So if you get into,
and isn't it? I mean, I think books is one of the easiest ways. Over there anyway, to start selling on eBay. On Amazon, to get yourself to the point where you can be ungated.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, there are certain things. A lot of people, they spruik that if you buy like Lego, I think it is. If you buy Lego from the Lego shop and send the receipt in, that's how you get ungated for that. But like these different things that, like I would probably, like Sarah is doing, is to be first to the post before they start clamping down. Because if I say, hey, look, we've got 500 sellers, that's more than enough for this category. You want to be in that first. Then that's when they start, tightening the screws and making it a lot harder to get to. So maybe that's something to do. I was going to jump in and say Octo's being a chooch. I don't even know what a chooch is.
Yeah, that's a terminology that we're not used to.
I'll have to get Greg to look it up.
Tell us what that means.
I love your podcast. I see that she's all right. So Maz, you just need to start hanging out with Mary a bit more. Yes, I do all right with eBay. It sells me disability, and I'm tipping the household budget to cover the increased costs of living and paying my daughter too. Well, I don't pay my minions, but maybe don't tell them that. Yeah, well, that's excellent. Like close to where Nana Octopus lives, she's in the proximity of a cancer. Well, she calls it the cancer shop, but they don't sell cancer there. But basically, it's an op shop that's ran for cancer survivors and all those cancer counsel and stuff like that. And they, without a doubt, are the best op shop for pricing and for stock that I've ever been in. It's only upsetting. It's a 6-hour swim to get there.
Yeah,
well done. You're very welcome. We're talking around, packing it. That's where you are. Okay.
Yeah, that's where Maz is located.
There's a couple of. I've got a couple of friends that live in the Funko realm that live in Pakenham. If you're into Funko, I'll put a story up on my Instagram probably in the next half an hour or so once we finish the show. But he's getting close to 1,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. He does Funko and unboxing and all those different things. So if you're that way inclined, subscribe to him. He's not as handsome as I am, but what can you do?
Oh, in your mind, no one's as handsome as you.
Oh, that's right. Well, it's very hard to beat the only reselling octopus in the world. Exactly what I do is I have a contact with an op shop, pick up a tray loader of stock free once a month. That's exactly right. They're just going to throw it away.
So, Jane, is that a variety of things, like across the board of the types of things that you're getting, or is it a specific type of item? Just curious. Yeah,
because I think a lot of books, and if you like the op shops where I am or the thrift stores where I am, they just keep it on the shelf until the shelves buckle under the weight because nothing moves because they're too obscenely priced. But I picked up a whole bunch of really good things yesterday, so I will be listing them after this and doing that. I think we're caught up. Bummer. Yeah.
Now, look, you need context for that. I think with what's going on because
Mary, if you're still here, try and work out what bummer means.
Yes.
Well, you might have it over there. I'm not too sure, but I thought it was just an Australian slang. But
I'm pretty sure it might be. But interesting one. We need to put that in our little dictionary, don't we?
That's right. It's a long way. Yep. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So. I don't know. Is there any more for the chat for any questions like this? Or by all means, if you're in the Daily Refinement Tech and Sport group or any other Facebook group or mentorship program, let us know. Send me a message or a granny message through Instagram or through the comments on this video. Just what you think of it. Do you think it's worthwhile? You don't necessarily have to say what it is or who it is. We're not going to incriminate them. And do you think it's worth it, or do you find any value from it? Because, like I said, there's a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of mentoring groups that are quite lacking, I suppose, and that I'm not a fan of them in their respect. So, we might keep commenting. I'm running out of voice. Seawater's getting quite thin now.
Yeah. Look, we will be fair. as much as Octo tries to act all, disgruntled all the time, I mean, there's good things and bad things about everything, but we would, when we're doing an assessment or something like that, we will be fair and discuss all the pros and cons, will we not, Octo?
Yeah. So, we find, especially in this topic, right? Like I said, it's not a reflection on tech or Chris Lynn, right? But we find a lot of YouTubers that do this review that's more or less a subscriber building activity, or piggybacking on the back of them for likes and for views and for subscriptions and all these different things. But ours is pretty much more or less a very holistic view of it. What we see it from our perspective and from our locale. So this is not going to be relevant to people in the US and all the different things, or the UK. Probably more relevant to the UK than the US. But like I said, there's something that we personally find, especially for the amount of outlay there is. Personally, like I said, from my perspective, it is worth it, because that I like having that as a fail-safe, and especially it's like an ad hoc kind of thing for me. But for someone that like I said, is juggling a household budget quite restricted, it might be an expense that you not necessarily need straight up. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Yes, boys and girls, I will not be here next week. So yes. Thank you very much, Mary. I know I will, chat to everyone. And by the way, boys and girls, there will not be a Friday Night Live tomorrow, I've decided. I was going to do one, but
I can have some sleep. I'm going to play Minecraft.
Yeah, I've got too much on to get organised before I go. And, I have to take the cat tomorrow and drop her off and go halfway to Mildura to give it to my daughters, and it's just going to make it too hard push to make sure I'm back in time, so I'm just going to say no, I'm not going to do it. So there you
go. But we'll be back next Thursday with a special guest, even if it's the Skeleton John Z reseller. We'll be back, and no doubt slinging mud at Granny, because she's not here to defend herself.
Your fried octopus is good for healing back surgery. Yay. Thanks, Mary.
Great day or evening, everyone. It's night here. I enjoyed hanging out with you folks. Take care. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Kitty.
If you're going to have to dress up John or Wayne or Blake, I haven't seen Blake here today. He's been pretty quiet. Maybe upset him.
Maybe he's busy with his sales or out thrifting or something.
Yeah, probably could be. Good session. I usually watch the catch up, but love being in the chat. Well, we love having you in the chat.
We do.
Good night, sitting kitty. Yes. Well, I don't know what time it's over there, but it's probably late. Good to have some Aussie banter over all categories. That's right. Well, I don't know if it's banter. I'm pretty much serious when I can't be a misogynist. Sorry, I have to retract that statement.
Behave yourself.
Good lucky Granny on your operation. Yes,
Thank
I have
you,
to make sure
Matt.
she comes back, because Wayno's too hard to pin down.
Yeah, he's not consistent enough, is he?
No. One thing I like is consistency, and Wayno, as much as I love him, is not everything.
That's what she gets in her trailer. Yeah, great to hear. Good.
That's good. Hate op shops that are overpriced items. They hardly sell any. They throw the excess in the bin, and that's right. That's exactly right. And this is what the conversation I'm having at the moment, that I'm building up to it. They're still getting over the initial shock that an 8-foot octopus walked in and asked them a question. But what it is that by all means have it on the shelf for a month or something like that. Then I'll take it off your hands for 50% off, or 75% off, whatever, depending on what the quality of the item is. But they said that it normally just goes back to a redistribution center and appears in another store, which I don't necessarily agree with, because personally I'd rather get rid of it for 50% than all the extra handling. Because you imagine every person.
Yeah, and that's what you would think. But the same thing happens here. But even with the independent op shops around here, I know the one in my town, they will send all their excess stock down to Vinnie's in the next town. Well, that then gets put into the Vinnie's system. So, it is all going over the place. Yeah,
so it's basically, long story short, it's it's not really a sunk cost, because they haven't really, paid anything for the thing, but they're paying for gas to move, for obviously put it in the trucks. The volunteers are having to, bag it up, put it in different things and put it in the back of the truck. Once it gets to the redistribution center, it gets, mixed up and pushed out to another store. So, that to me would be worth potentially less than the $4 that you're taking off the top for half price, or 75% off, and all these different things. Because like I said numerous times, I normally pick up, Levi jeans, because I think Sarah said they're $25 up in Newcastle. I'll pick them up for $8 and $9. That's the high end of what I pay. If I pick them up for $4 a pair, that would benefit me and the op shop, because they're not moving them around, especially moving out of season as well. But it's crazy.
I think they're just trying to keep us here, Octo, because they keep talking.
Oh no, that's exactly right. Well, that's exactly. They got Stockholm syndrome, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I do hope that Granny's surgery goes well as well, because obviously I don't have to send her a bunch of flowers. I think
I'll be a new woman after the operation.
I wasn't saying that I expected to be under 6 foot under. I'll put it that way. To be honest, I'm in a Discord group that I pay for and really get nothing out of it, so I won't be renewing. I've got more out of the John the Reseller listing lives than the Discord group. Yeah, and that's like John's, he's probably not lurking in here because he can't help himself. He's probably still asleep, but he's really good at what he does, right? So I don't really like his model, and I've told him as much, where, you just shut up for 30 minutes to list, then you have 10 minutes of talking. But that works for John, and that might potentially work for his audience. But each their own. But like I said, I only pop into John's lives as well, or I watch the replays and just skip the parts where he's just tapping away at the keys and I'm doing this.
Well, see, I found myself, because I was in his live, the listing thing the other night on Tuesday, and so I had a podcast all teed up on my iPad. So during that time when everything was quiet, I was playing the podcast, because I need something going. The silence is not good. Yeah.
Oh, Granny says, good luck, Granny.
Thank you, Kathan.
Recommerce Derv is crying. I don't know if he's crying about, probably because we're wrapping up, not your surgery.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it will, Drew.
Thank you, Drew.
She'll come back and haunt me if it doesn't go well, put it that way.
Yeah, that's right. I'll say it's because you put it out in the universe.
Well, that's right. We'll put it this way. If something does happen to Granny and the unfortunate happens, I'll bring in a Ouija board and we'll still run these Thursdays.
Yeah, I did say if anything happens to me, I'm going to come back and haunt you, didn't I?
Yes. You bet 2 30-year-olds for next week, Octo.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I must have missed something. I must have said something.
I don't know who the 2 30-year-olds are, but anyway. Thank you.
Thanks, Baz.
Thank you.
Good luck, Granny. Yes, she'll need it. Well, if she needs a nurse, Graham, she can always come visit you, mate. Don't forget to hit the like.
Yes, do that, please.
Yeah, we don't see what it looks from this perspective. Okay. But like I said, I'm not too concerned about that stuff. A lot of op shops sell by the kilos cheap. Yeah, and like I said, it's just a matter of building that relationship. And if one says no, go to the other. Don't be put off by one person. So totally agree. I'm making words up like Maz as well. So look at that. We're going to be cool, Maz. Yeah. Back in the 90s, off shops were throwing truckloads that could close out. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think there might be a bit of fat finger disease going around today, actually.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, it could be fat tentacles. It's hay fever's kicking in. My tentacles are swollen up like nothing else. You can barely tap the keyboard. White noise is life, much better than screaming kids. I agree, 100%. I was ready to sell one off to the homeless shelter this morning. Hope all goes well. Look forward to you gate crashing in the live while it's recovering. Joking aside, great podcast is that it's not scripted and teaches a lot of information. Jeez, she must be crawling to come back on. She's been so nice to us.
Are you sure? I think she might be chatting with us, but listening to the wrong.
I was about to say
something else.
She might be listening to John the Reseller's podcast. I think. Hope you recover quickly.
Thank you, Laura.
Friday's a no-go. Hang on. Like, are you and Recommerce Dave the same person? Oh, look, we just potentially worked out who the octopus is.
Yeah,
Sarah and Recommerce Dave. There you go.
Maybe.
Last week you said you've been 30-year-old on. Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Right.
Well,
that's... And you need 2 of them to make up my age. Yes.
I'll let you know a little secret. So Granny makes the thumbnails on the Monday before the podcast comes out, and by the Monday comes around, we've forgotten what we've spoken about. So if the titles look like clickbait, it's because we have dementia and we don't know what we talked about. So that's the reason, all right? Yeah. We thought we talked about something we potentially might not talk about.
Well, yeah, and look, we can have it. We can set a topic of conversation even for the podcast, and I'm sure some of you may have noticed that may not get talked about very much because we just veer off and start talking about something else. So that's just how it is.
We have problems. We're easily distracted, put it that way. He's got fat fingers.
Thank you,
today.
Jane.
Oh, Jesus. No, he's calling me Jesus now. Look at this.
Wow.
That's right. It's about time I got the appreciation that I deserved. Blue face smiling. I don't know what that means. It's not coming up in here, but that's all good. But anyway, I think that's enough for us for this week, Granny. So the accountability hours turned into the accountability 4 hours.
Yes, an hour and a half.
But that's right. So they're onto us. They know if they keep chatting, we can't help ourselves. We have to get it through to completion. But before anyone else starts a topic of conversation, we'll say goodbye. But everyone, have a good week, and we'll see you again next Tuesday for our assessment on the Daily Refinement Facebook group. We're in the Australian call tonight, so we'll be undercover, so you won't be able to recognize who we are, so we won't get kidnapped. But other than that, we'll see you next Tuesday and next Thursday. Or Granny won't, but I will. Bye.
Bye.